What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Beyond the 90. And this is a different green screen. I've got a new friend with me. So I'm on the road. If you're subscribed to this channel, you might be subscribed to Blue Tinted Glasses. If not, there'll be a link in the description. And I'm down in London this weekend. So I did manage to catch the match still. I just want to give you my thoughts regarding that. Again, 4-0. we kind of remind me of a Steve Cooper performance. Hear me out. And I know I've criticised Steve Cooper, and rightfully so. That lineup was shot from minute one. That midfield, no Samori, no Ndidi, and I think Ndidi's going to be out for a couple more weeks. They were running through our midfield, let's be honest. Ruud has to take some accountability, and the players do as well. When they started the first half on fire, going for it, and we didn't really have a plan for it. What we saw in the Brighton game, and I think it is a different performance to the Brighton game in terms of the way they were pressing, but you know how we set up in the 4-4-2 and just contain them and then try to start playing out? For me, that's what he needs to go back to. Sit in that 4-4-2 block and then go, I'm going to absorb the pressure, especially with, you look at some of the teams we're going to be playing up against in the next few games. Again, obviously, Wolves will come on to that in just a bit because they are in free fall. Man City and Liverpool, we're going to have to sit in and make it tough for them. But at times, even in the first and second half, it was like we were down to 10 men. And this is not something, and I know there'll be probably people in the comments already talking about Danny Ward going, he was not good enough. And I agree. But I don't think Danny Ward, some of the positioning was not very good. But also, there was other people to blame, the whole team, the management. And I think it's just an off day. But this is Ruud's 22nd game in the Premier League, or 27th game. And this is the game that first game he's lost in 22 games. So, if I was... Look, we've got to stick with him. Obviously, we've got to stick with him. People will be calling for his head already. I don't think people are. But he's a young manager. He's going to make mistakes. He's done a great job so far. He's got us playing attractive football, and I feel positive. However, there are some issues we do have. And again, if in doubt, keep it simple. And that just applies to Ruud, in terms of 4-4-2. That also applies to people like Hamza Chowdhury, where he was winning the ball back and intercepting it in decent positions and heading the ball. The problem is, when Newcastle were pressing us, he would drop in and he didn't really execute as well as he needed to, basically. The passing, he was trying to be too Hollywood with it. He was trying to play the progressive pass, which was the sexy pass. Sometimes, even when you've got Oliver Skip in the team, or El Khanous, who dropped in deep, so at times, give the ball to them and let them do the hard work. Ndidi is brilliant at this. Ndidi's not going to play Hollywood, but he wins the ball, tackles, gets it, then passes it to someone like a Samori, or passes it to an El Khanous, and they do the creative work. So you've got signature roles. And what I was surprised at, and what I found out when we were doing the live post-match, out of out of Skip and Chowdhury, they put in one tackle, which I was astounded at all game. So it is an off day, but these are lessons that Ruud has to learn, the players have to learn. Newcastle turned up, and I think there was no qualms about how good Newcastle were. They were really, really good, but at the same time, we shot ourselves in the foot. But when half-time came and we saw that Danny Ward was coming on, we all just went, oh no. And then within 2 minutes, and within 5 minutes, we did 2 goals or something, or 6 minutes or something. Ridiculous. We'll be okay, but we've got to learn our lessons. And hopefully Ruud looks at this and goes, okay, we've got to take some stuff away. Connor Cody looked really quite shocking in this game. I think Okoli just came on, and I think for the third goal, where Okoli's come on, they're trying to change up a little bit. The subs in general weren't really effective, let's be honest with you. Let's be honest, the subs really weren't good enough. But at that time, we just need to sit into a 4-4-2 and just defend. And yes, Danny Ward makes some errors, but there are also other players across the pitch that need to make sure that that's the case. Who else was going to mention? There wasn't really any standout performances, let's be honest. They were, across the pitch, not very good. This has kind of brought everything back to it. We were in honeymoon season, weren't we, the last 2 games? Going, oh my God, beating Brentford, can see the shots, but sorry, beating beating West Ham, but it still shows this team is a little bit weak there. Mentality wise, I want to see them improve. And if we're going to stay in the Premier League, the one thing that's going to improve is the mentality. Now, this team objectively is much stronger than the team that went down in a couple of years ago. But personnel wise, that was much weaker. You think about Casey McAteer, and I think Casey does need a loan to the Championship. I genuinely think that. Why does Ruud keep playing him? Some people might ask. It's for his hard work, grit, determination, ability to win the ball back in the beginning third and drive with it. So that's one position. I think that another position, Jamie Vardy was starved of service. Let's be honest with you. It was quite a comfortable game for Newcastle, and we can be fortunate that they decided to go, look, we're 4-0 up now. Let's take our foot off the gas, and see this game out, because they started to bring on their substitutes and they started to get a bit weaker. But again, it shows you the fact that some of these players might be, in our team, might be championship quality, but managed to get the best out of them. Now, if you watch the video with Steve, we did the Newcastle preview, shout out to again, Strasbourg Steve. If you make sure, again, you could check the previous video when we did the preview, and he was frustrated at the team. But you can see why Eddie Howe is in this position where when they get it right, they can play some incredible football. When it goes wrong, like against, what was it? I can't remember. Was it Brentford? They got absolutely smashed. So they're in a weird spot. They've got some good bits of football, but also with, for example, Hermansen getting injured. That's a big miss. It's apparently a groin strain. It might not be too bad, but we were all sitting there just refreshing, going, what is the update? Is he going to be injured for a long period of time? That could decide our season, and I hate to be that person that's mentioning that. People have mentioned, why not play Stolarczyk if Stolarczyk comes back? Stolarczyk is a good player, but to rely on him is a real ask for the rest of the season. Also, this might decide who we get in January, because they might look at the team and go, do you know what, we do need some more investment in certain players. And in the summer, I think there would be another clear out. Like, so Daniel Leverson would go, and also I'd bring Daniel Leverson back into the team if Stolarczyk isn't fit. He's played first team football, he knows what to do, and is he going to be the best on the ball? No, but he's going to make some good saves. And at the end of the day, that's something that Danny Ward can't play with his feet, and he can't really make amazing saves, so I don't see what you get from him. So I'll be interested to see if he gets dropped, and then we bring in, if Stolarczyk isn't fit, and we bring in Daniel Leverson this time. Two of them are good keepers, but Stolarczyk good keeper. Everson is a solid shot stopper, I would say. Is he going to play the progressive way? No, but when you've got somebody like Yannick Vestergaard in the team, you can afford to, because you can just kind of pass it over to him, and he's going to then pick up the passes. Kind of like we mentioned with Hamza Chowdhury. Stop trying to play the Hollywood pass, just pass the 5-yard pass and then get it across. Not too much to analyse, because, let's be honest, it was pretty woeful across it. I thought Mavididi, I don't know what it is. Mavididi looks a bit off. I thought sometimes with Mavididi, we've seen it in games where he doesn't really turn up, or he doesn't quite beat his man, but he can produce a moment of magic out of nowhere. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens, and if we try and go in for another winger in the January window, because if we get somebody that can play all along the front line, like he's done with a couple of PSV people, I think that we could go on to some really good levels. But we've got to back Ruud, and I think he'll get the next one right. But when things started to go wrong, I don't think Ruud really knew what to do with it. And this is a challenge of a good manager. When things go wrong, what do you do? When everything's going right, you don't need to touch anything, really. But when things go wrong, what do you do? Now, in the next game, Samori will be back. Who's going to play alongside him? Maybe he'll play Skip and Samori as your double pivot. It's Wolves, and I've got a feeling that we have to go for that game. Against a weaker opposition, that must be 3 points, because we need to stretch that gap as much as possible. And I hope that they don't fire Gary O'Neill. If you've seen the scenes after the game, oh my God, there was some of the performance that they had after the game. Dawson had to carry out Nori down the tunnel. Absolutely, he was absolutely raging. So he's got a red card from that after the game. I think that carries through to the rest of the game, so that will have an impact on him. We have to get 3 points against Wolves. It really makes everything so hard. But yeah, it's my post-match thoughts. If you want to watch my full thoughts with Anil and Luke and Locks, make sure to check out Pluto to Glasses, link in the chat. Apart from that, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you all in the next video. So goodbye.